Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Star Wars Stuff Podcast. My name is David,
And my name is Zach.
and this is where we talk all things Star Wars. Be quiet, Yoda. And there's some big news that dropped, and we're going to get to that before we thank our awesome Patreon members out there. To our awesome top-tier Patreon supporters out there, Darth Ace 1, Liam McCallion, Chris Simpson, Kevin Leininger, Devin McCaffrey. Scroll's going very slow. Drew Peters, Maya Morris, Makatao Tala, Zach Netzel, Adam Haber, Brad Mackey, Front Row King, Darth Beard, Indiana Solo, and last but not least, Mariana Atia Arnold. Thank you so much for supporting us. And we really needed that support today. And of course, we're eventually going to get more support from you guys. But we renewed our subscription for StreamYard. So we will still have a home here at StreamYard. So thanks to them to making it somewhat affordable. So you'll still see us on video. If you watch us on YouTube, just search up Star Wars Stuff Podcast. You can watch us there, play us in the background, or watch us. That's all good. But yeah. We do have some stuff to talk about. Adam Haber, at Adam, he's in the chat on YouTube. David, I do not like this font.
It did make the scroll a lot slower.
Yeah, and my camera just died. What'd you do, Adam? Has Adam hacked in?
Oh, Adam.
Oh my gosh, I'm just like disappeared. What the heck? Maybe that's the next thing I buy is a new camera. Yeah, it's a little wonky. But yes, so title of the podcast. BAYLAN Skoll has maybe officially been recast. I believe it was a news story that broke via Jeff Snyder. And once he broke it, the trades ran with it, Variety, Hollywood Reporter. And apparently, it's a name that not anyone really brought up. Everyone talked about, let's get Liev Schreiber in there. Let's get Gerard Butler in there. Let's get, I don't know, some XYZ person out there.
Yeah.
Never did we hear, not to my recollection at least, never did we hear about this guy. And of course, that is none other than Rory McCann. And he played the Hound in Game of Thrones. And he's perfect. He's the perfect recast of BAYLAN Skoll. And it just kind of blew me away how we did not think of that. I didn't see anyone else bring his name up. I mean, just really inspired casting. I love it. Zach just revealed to me he's never seen Game of Thrones, which is shocking. But so yeah, he would carry episodes. He's that good of an actor. And he was pitch perfect as the Hound in Game of Thrones. You kind of had to have seen the show, but he's very gruff. Zach told me he's 6'6". Ray Stevenson, rest in peace, was 6'3".
Yeah.
And they were friends. And so it's kind of fitting that he kind of steps in the shoes there and takes a place and kind of plays that character. I really love it. I like I said, I'm just surprised that like no one brought him up before. It was very, very shocking. I think this is Zach on YouTube. He says the font is so 80s like Skeleton Crew. And I think Zach says a person from that Dragon show. Yes, a person from that Dragon, a very great actor, a very beloved character. Game of Thrones, Japan. Zach hasn't seen any of it either. Wow, that is incredible.
Looks like we got to do our homework.
Adam says, I heard it was between him and Brienne of Tarth. And Zach says, I'm only 6 foot. I'm 5'11", so I'm like an inch shorter than you. I may have shrunk even more since I'm getting older. But yeah, incredible news. I love it. And I don't know. Do you have any other thoughts on
Well,
on
I
Rory?
guess
getting cast.
I'm excited. Everyone I've talked to has said good things about him as the casting choice. I think a lot of people at first glance probably don't see Balin Skull because they're going to have to color his hair and his beard and give him makeup and all that stuff, which I'm sure will be no problem, and he'll look just like Balin Skull once the cameras are on him. I think people were trying to imagine someone that looks a little more salt and peppery, kind of like Ray Stevenson. But I think he's going to do a great job. Hopefully, we get to see him swinging his saber around like in season one. It was just a big clunky fight, I guess, style that we saw him utilize, and it was great. Hopefully, we can see Rory capture that same magic, and I'd imagine that the people who made the choice to cast him believe that he can do it. So I'm all in. But yeah, should be fun.
I'm glad you brought up the um, the likeness. Now, of course, when you recast a popular character or a beloved character, I think you do want a certain likeness to that character. I mean, when you're casting people, I mean, you look at facial features, you look at just
Mm.
do they look similar? I'm trying to think of another time that this kind of happened, and it actually happened in Game of Thrones. Um, I believe it was Ed Skrein who was recast, and it wasn't that big a deal because his character um, wasn't actually in the forefront, but they brought in a different actor that kind of didn't really look like Ed Skrein at all.
Hmm.
And of course, it happened with the Hound as well. There was a different, or maybe no. It happened with the Mountain, the basically the Hound's nemesis, so to speak. Um, they recast him, and it didn't make a big difference because I think he wore like a helmet and he wore like makeup and stuff. But
Yeah.
I think recasting with Rory, he has the same like essence of Ray Stevenson. I mean, you can totally. Once I heard it, I was like, yes, that's just spot on, man. It feels like it's gonna work. I
Yeah.
mean, from everything that we've seen, I mean, he's done other things, but I think the thing he's most popular for is Game of Thrones, and he did such a fantastic job. Um,
Yeah. It sounds like it. And I guess I had a thought and I totally lost it before I started talking. But I think recasting somebody because the actor passed away is a really delicate operation. It's difficult to pull off where everybody's happy. But I see this having potential to be one of those stories where I believe I read. I guess I should really look into that more. That Disney was talking to his estate to ask if it was okay to recast and blah blah blah. And I think things are lining up for this to be a great option for them to uh, explore after Ray Stevenson's passing. Because there's a lot of character that we have to explore for Balin Skull with how Ahsoka season one ended, and I'm very excited for that.
Definitely, Balin Skull is one of those characters we can go back in time with and
Yeah,
see his beginnings, and hopefully we do get something like that. Also with Shin Hati, hopefully we get how she got to where she was in season one of Ahsoka. So I have the article here for the casting, and this is from Hollywood Reporter. It's entitled Game of Thrones actor Rory McCann replacing the late Ray Stevenson for Ahsoka Season 2. Scottish actor Rory McCann, best known for playing the burly brute, the Hound on HBO's Game of Thrones, will replace late actor Ray Stevenson for a second season of Star Wars show Ahsoka. The Hollywood Reporter has confirmed. So they're saying this is legit. It's done. It is confirmed. Stevenson played the hulking former Jedi known as Baylan Skoll in the Disney Plus series. He died after a brief illness in May 2023, 3 months before the series premiered. The actor was a fan favorite, that's for sure. thanks to his resonant voice, humor, and roles in Punisher, Warzone, and the Thor movies, TV's Rome as well. Ahsoka stars Rosario Dawson, as we all know, as a former Jedi, the titular Ahsoka Tano, who teams with a former apprentice in order to stop the evil empire from reforming. Two obstacles in her path were Skull and his apprentice, Shin Hati, played by Ivana Sakno. It is unclear when the new season is to begin shooting or who will be directing. Dave Filoni was a showrunner of season 1 and is returning in the same capacity. McCann was recently on the big screen in Gladiator 2. He was one of the generals, I believe. His other credits include Edgar Wright's Hot Fuzz, Triple X, Return of Xander Cage, Jumanji, The Next Level, the recent Knuckles show for Paramount Plus, and the animated series Transformers Earth Spark. He is rep by Imtage, Halid, and Monster Voice. So there you have it.
Yeah. Man.
And you said you have the season 2 Blu-rays of
I got
Ahsoka?
the
Or season
season
1, my
one.
bad.
Yeah. So I watched the director's commentary that Dave Filoni did for 2 episodes. I think there are only 2 episodes with commentary. It was the episode with all the flashbacks with Anakin and Ahsoka, and then the season finale. And it must have been recorded not long before it was announced that there was going to be Blu-ray, I guess, to sell to the public. And Dave went back and talked about Ray's passing and how he hadn't watched or Dave himself hadn't watched the episodes in a while. So I'm guessing it was somewhat recent. And he talked about how there's a lot in store for Baylan Skull, which I thought was very interesting and exciting. I got super excited seeing how Baylan was left on, I believe it was the statue of the father from the Mortis arc
Yeah.
in the Clone Wars, just pointing
Yeah.
towards a peak out in the distance, which I don't know. I think that's a really cool, mysterious way to tie off that character for the season. And there's just so much we can speculate and theorize regarding what could happen in season 2. And yeah, I don't know. It's crazy. There's a lot coming. But yeah, sorry, that's my long-winded answer for getting the Blu-rays. I do have them.
Yeah, I've been going around to different places, and I haven't seen those discs
Yeah,
to buy. I guess I could just buy them off of Amazon, but I kind of want to have that whole like old school experience where I find it and just buy it.
I
Um,
know. I hear you.
yeah, because that's going away, man, and that's I
Makes
don't
me
know.
sad.
Yeah, I think it kind of depresses all of us a little bit. But yeah, it's hopeful to see that. Yeah, I mean they're going to continue with this story. I mean, we all kind of assumed that yeah, you ended on the statue of the father. We're going to get the father, the son, the daughter, that whole thing, and
Yeah.
probably Abeloth and
Oh,
the
that'd be
mother.
crazy. That would be
um,
crazy.
yeah, and it feels like Dave Filoni is definitely going there, and I've never heard a lot of people talk about Rory McCann's performance in the Game of Thrones. Um, and it was definitely a terrific performance. He knocked out of the park. I mean, the scenes with him and Arya, him and Brienne of Tarth, who, of course, is also a Star Wars alumnus. Um, he's just one of those guys. Like he owned that role, and
Yeah.
you're always going to think of him. I guess until they remake Game of Thrones, but I'm
Mhm.
happy. I'm pleased. They did a fantastic job. Whoever made that decision, I think I think he's going to be a foundational character to stay, because Ray
Yeah.
Stevenson was like he grounded that character in that series. I mean, he lifted the series. You
Mm.
know, I just wish that he lived long enough to see people kind of revere him and say
Oh, I know.
they got it right. They got it right with his casting. They got it right with his character. I mean, just pitch perfect, man. And it's just so
Yeah.
unfortunate that he's no longer with us. But
Yeah. Even from the way episode 1 of the series starts, it's in loving memory of our friend Ray, and you see
yeah,
him and uh Shin come in off of their shuttle, and they have their big first scene, and it's the first shot of the series, and it's, I don't know, it definitely sets the tone for the show, puts into perspective that he has passed, but I don't know, when I read that as the crawl came out for that first episode, it kind of set the tone for me and what to expect from his character. And it took my breath away way more than I thought it was going to. And
Yeah.
I bet a lot of people would probably say the same, but this is definitely one of the coolest characters in recent Star Wars history, in my opinion. I think he's a very well-rounded character.
Yeah, I mean, you think back and under Disney's ownership, I mean, who are the best dark side users that
Yeah.
have come up? I mean, it's pretty much Kylo Ren, Baylan Skoll, Shin Hati, right? I mean, who else jumps to mind?
Kylo Ren.
Yeah, that's. I think
Oh,
I said Kylo Ren, right?
probably. Sorry, it's late for me. I don't know, like the Grand
It's late for
Inquisitor is
all of
kind
us.
of cool. But I guess thinking of Rebels, the Inquisitors, Grand Inquisitor, boy, I think that might be it. Snoke.
Yeah.
Yeah.
At Adam, yeah, Snoke. I'd put Snoke up there. At Adam asks, "Are you more excited for Ahsoka season 2 or Mando and Grogu?" I think it's Mando and Grogu because you know they're going to put like some serious cash behind it, and they're going to
I hope so.
go. They should go pretty big on that. But then again, I heard a report actually that Ahsoka season 2 is actually going to be bigger in scope.
Mm,
Season 1 was already pretty big with like the space wells, going to a different galaxy, which is something we've
yeah.
never seen before in live action. Um,
Yeah, that's
but
true.
the progression, I think, of Ahsoka and seeing Mando and Grogu, and then knowing that there's a film after that that Filoni is gonna direct. It feels like Filoni has now been like put in a certain spot in the in relationship to the live action projects. I think, I mean, I think he's totally maxed out to what he can contribute to Star Wars, um, which I think works out in Andor's favor because I think Tony Gilroy has that pretty well in place there. I don't think he really needs that much help with running Andor, but
Yeah.
these new projects coming out, I know like the Sean Levy project, hopefully that's still a go. Um, and then we got the James Mangold project, and we got news about that, which is a little bit concerning. Originally, I think when I read it, um, I was like, what are we talking about?" Um, because it felt a lot like to me that Mangold was gonna kind of like ignore certain aspects that kind
Yeah.
of make Star Wars what Star Wars actually is. So
Mm,
I'm, I mean, if you've seen previous podcasts, you've seen me talk about how it's like, I mean, the Dawn of the Jedi. It's what are we gonna get? Are we gonna get lightsabers in it? I mean, that to me is a very
oh,
very critical, important aspect of Star Wars. You know, is it just gonna be
yeah.
like a guy people keep on referencing the Ten Commandments and Ben Hur, and with those
Mm,
movies, I think about a guy in the desert and like
yeah.
wearing just tattered clothing and being like weak. And
Hmm.
I mean, are we going to get something like that, or is it going to be something totally different?
A
And am I
lightsaber
just way off the
backpack.
mark?
I bet we'll get kyber crystals, but I don't know if we'll get a lightsaber. It'd be kind of cool to see that early construction of a lightsaber. I don't know if the old lightsabers with the backpacks are still canon, but that'd be cool to see, but I don't know how realistic it would be to see that type of lightsaber in the Dawn of the Jedi type movie.
Yeah, Zach says out there, we see money doesn't always equal success. Cough, acolyte, cough. Yeah, definitely. that yeah, you have to have the talent. You have to have the talent. You have to have script. You have to have, in most cases, you have to have a plan. Crystal Kyber out there says, "Yo, hi, Star Wars Stuff Podcast." Hello, Crystal.
What's up, Crystal?
Says hi, David and Zach. And Zach says hi, Crystal. Crystal says, "Add Adam, I love your username." And Adam says, "Haha, I was just about to say that." Okay, they're having their own podcast now. She says, "Hi, look at us."
Love it.
Crying happy face. Yeah. I think Zach is right there on YouTube. He says maybe the invention of the first lightsaber. They're going to have to do something like that. And
Yeah.
it's going to have to. And I just keep on going back to the whole kind of a people's being like held down. And there's like a leader that like kind of comes up in his people and he says,
Yeah.
"I'll lead you to the promised land. And I have this ability. I don't know what it is, but I can move things with my mind.
Yeah.
And I have this weapon that no one else has." That would be well, maybe I'm talking myself into it now. But how does this first Jedi come across this kyber crystal? How does he figure out how to make a saber? Does he have like a James Bond Q guy there that's like inventing stuff and like
Yeah.
says, "Hey, look," I mean, how's that all going to play out? I just want to know what the tone is. I want to know what the setting is.
Yeah, for
I'm
sure.
just it's a little worrying. Like, are we going to get something that's like bland and kind of
Yeah.
plain?
Do we imagine if off-world travel is common at that time? Is it going to be on one planet? If it were to be one planet, what would be a good planet for that? I don't know. I mean, I think of Ilum. That'd be a great planet for a Jedi to kind of get his or her first footing on. I guess find a kyber crystal, and I'm not saying kyber crystals equal Jedi, but that'd be a pretty cool
Right.
sort of. I don't know. I think there's a lot of wiggle room with that. But do you think? I don't remember how old Hu Yang said he was and how long he's been around. But what if we see like the creation of Hu Yang in the Dawn of the Jedi film? That'd be kind of cool. I don't know if he stretches back that far. I'm guessing not, but that'd be cool to see something like that.
Yeah, Zach says on YouTube, maybe the lightsaber is red because it's easier to use the dark side. Yeah, that kind of leans into the whole like theology of it all.
Yeah.
And like George Lucas has said, it's easier to be evil. And yeah, maybe that's what he kind of channels. Maybe this main character of Dawn of the Jedi is breaks bad, and then that character's apprentice is more on the light side, and then that's when you have the lightsaber duel. So
Yeah.
that's a way to get around the whole like
For
invention
sure.
of the lightsaber. I mean, yeah.
That'd be sweet.
So
That'd be
yeah,
very
I
cool.
have. Hopefully, it's still on my phone. So the quote here, it's from Collider. It says, and this is from James Mangold: "I'm not that interested in being handcuffed by so much lore." And that's via James Mangold believes Star Wars Dawn of the Jedi will work by exploring uncharted territory. But what does that even mean?
Right.
It's like, is he gonna? I mean, is this like a Ryan Johnson thing where he's gonna break Star Wars in
Yeah.
a way, and it's not gonna be what we think, and he's gonna be like, "Oh, the original lightsabers didn't have kyber crystals; they had something else. They had this special dust." I mean, what is he gonna do? What does
Right.
that even mean?
Right. Well, and if you think about it with like a house analogy, like he's laying the first brick, but we know what the finished house looks like. So it's kind of,
Right.
you can't, I don't know. There's only so much you can change and have. I mean, there is a lot of wiggle room in terms of the time it is set in, but I think you got to play certain things the right way, or otherwise it's going to, there's a lot of pillars that are built off of the foundation that we learned in 1977 with the Force. And if a lot of those things aren't, I guess, captured on screen in that essence, it could be Bad News Bears, in my opinion.
Yeah. Crystal wants us to duel, but I'm in Texas and Zach's in Michigan, so that ain't gonna happen
I'll get
anytime
some
soon.
tickets. I'm just kidding.
Yeah, Zach says student starts Jedi Order. I do like that concept, actually. You're making me like this idea more and more. And Zach is trying to take all credit for this, which would be accurate. I didn't
He's
even
one
think of
step
that. I didn't
ahead.
even think of like the main character having an apprentice. That's a really good concept. I like that. Or like an
That would be
accidental
cool.
apprentice, maybe someone that's just like kind of
Yeah,
sharp and kind of keeps their eyes open, and it's like they're force sensitive as well, and they kind of like learn off to the side.
yeah. And it'd be cool to see the creation of the light side out of pure disagreement towards the dark with the first two people that are kind of force sensitive.
Yeah, I mean that kind of solves the problem. Is like where the Sith. I mean, it
Yeah,
would be nice to see the master and student battle. They'd be like the first two, you know.
for sure.
Maybe we crack the code of Dawn of the Jedi.
Dang. Disney, if you're listening.
Yeah, if you're listening, hire us. But I mean, it's interesting because it feels like Disney has been listening to some of our ideas, and they're kind of implementing them, and we just got to keep on talking about them, keep on
Yeah.
putting them out there in the world.
Hmm.
Yeah, Zach points out on YouTube, watch Disney make the first Sith and Jedi be twins. That would make a lot of sense.
It would.
I think people would kind of moan and groan about the whole twin situation, but I mean,
It totally makes sense.
yeah, it does. It
Yeah.
totally does.
Hmm.
So yeah, that's James Mangold. He's been very busy, and I think he starts. I think they start shooting that film sometime this year, right?
Man, that's honestly I almost don't know what to believe anymore with all the movies outside of Mando and Grogu. I hate to say it, but hopefully that starts filming soon. I love this. Adam on YouTube, the power of
Yeah,
one, the power of
Adam is
two,
now
and
singing on YouTube or
then Zach,
chanting,
the power of many.
whatever you want to call it. Yeah.
Man.
So we also do want to comment on what's going on our planet Earth,
Mm,
especially in the LA area. I know Crystal in chat lives in that area, and we know she's okay, right, Crystal? You're okay.
mm, yeah.
I've been talking to James, and James actually lives like in Hollywood. Basically, he can see the Hollywood
Yeah.
sign from the rooftop of his apartment building. He is safe. He was evacuated a couple days ago, and I think he evacuated to a hotel in Anaheim. The hotel that awesome. Yes, Crystal says she's safe. Awesome. And
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure James would have told me, but if you weren't safe, but yeah, I've been in communication with James, and yeah, he's doing good. The fires haven't really affected him. He can kind of see the Pacific Palisades from the rooftop of his apartment, um, and of course he can see the Hollywood sign, the Griffith Observatory.
Yeah.
Um, so he's right there. And like I said, he got evacuated, but he is safe now. Um, and the wild thing is, the day before, he bought his ticket to his flight to Japan. So
Wow.
yeah, yeah, James is going to Japan. He's flying straight from LAX into Tokyo now. So yeah, and then that huge disaster happened, and at one point he was thinking about like leaving leaving California, and it's like, oh my gosh. Um, so yeah, Crystal, are you going to Japan? I don't think you've said anything about that, but there, James, you might want to talk to James about it because he found an airline that flies from LAX to Tokyo, just
Hmm.
constantly and only, I believe. Yeah, Celebration 2025. Yeah, I am going. I'll be there with James. Colin was supposed to go, of course, and of course he had to get pregnant, so he can't go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes, Crystal, I am going to Japan 2025 April celebration, as well as James, unless he wants to lose his flight money. But yeah, we should be there. Um, I think he's really hyped because we talked today and we talked about like kind of strategy and all the interesting little quirks about Japan. I know Zach, he's in Japan right now. Um, the YouTube user that you see in chat. So he probably has a lot of tips and tricks for us. We do know that Disney Tokyo is actually relatively cheap in comparison to the America's Disneyland, Disney World. Yeah, now Zach is
Hey,
showing
that's
off with
nice.
his Japanese. Um, but yeah, there are some interesting things for an American in Japan to know about. And I've done a little bit of research. It was funny because when we're flying back from London, um, the screen in front of me and the seat in front of me had a section where I could learn Japanese from like a little Rosetta Stone
Hmm.
tutorial thing. So I started learning it
Nice.
then, and of course, I haven't really looked at anything since then. But um, it's very interesting that 7-Elevens, yes, the gas station 7-Eleven that we have here in the
Yeah.
states, they are like American United Nation hubs. Like you can do everything at 7-Eleven. It feels like you
Yeah.
can actually go there and take your American currency dollars and exchange them for Japanese yen there, which is kind of wild. Um,
Hmm.
there's also a few more things in that in seven. I've got to refresh my memory because I did all this research a long time ago. But
They need Buc-ee's in Japan, dude.
Zach says no
Sweet.
Slurpees at the 7-Eleven. Um, that's their loss. Oh, and he says, or hot dogs, nachos, big gulps. Interesting.
Hmm.
What do they have at 7-Eleven that I haven't mentioned yet, Zach? Um, I think if you go to Japan and you're not ready to embrace their cuisine, you can visit that 7-Eleven and get a little taste of America back. But I'm not going to do that. I'm totally going to go for the seafood. I'm a big seafood person, as Adam and Zach know.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
Anytime that I'm not with my family, I go for seafood. That's my go-to because my family just doesn't do seafood, which is wild to me, but it is what it is. Um,
Sure. I definitely have regrets not getting the big seafood boil with you guys. I
what
definitely
did you
chose
get?
wrong. I got, like, the shrimp basket, like a lame,
You
like,
got like the
town.
fried shrimp. Yeah, we
Yeah, it
got
was good,
yeah, we
but
got yeah. So yeah, we went to shout out to Smashing Crab. They're awesome. And that particular one is really good. Um, that's like the really nice one in town.
yeah,
And yeah, Colin kept on saying, "What I order, David? What I order?" And I was like, "Order this. It's the same thing I'm getting. You get like a cluster. You get some potatoes, some corn on the cob, some shrimp,
yeah.
and oh my gosh, it's so good." Zach says you can get coffee at 7-Eleven, fried chicken. Um, is it chicken though? Hot coffee. Um, so yeah, it's gonna be interesting to check it out. I think so. Our preliminary plan for James and I when we get to Japan, we're probably gonna do Disney that first day. We're gonna get there, I think, a day or two before celebration starts. So,
Nice.
um, depending on if we get there on time, um, the big thing is they're a cash society. They're not big into like debit cards, credit cards. So we got to carry cash on us, um, which don't tell the bad people over there that we have cash on us.
What's the
But
exchange
everyone
rate?
carries cash, so I mean it's not that big a deal. Um, I don't know if this is legit or not, but Zach is saying, as for Kujira, when you eat sushi here, and Ika and Taco. Okay.
There you go.
I don't know. So yeah, we're looking for that. Sam Witwer just got announced as a
Oh,
guest,
that's
and
cool.
we've met him before, and got him to autograph a couple of saber hilts, and he's a real cool guy. He when you meet him as a fan, he gives you a real custom fan experience. He's one of those guys that really kind of embraces it,
Hmm.
and I mean the amount of energy he puts into every fan experience. I mean he's exhausted by the end of the day. Because I mean, yeah, he's into it, man, and
That's cool.
I'm just glad he is the way he is, and it's worth it. And I typed on X, formerly known as Twitter, when they made the announcement in the comments that, hey, if you're on the fence about getting his autograph or photo op, don't be, because it's going to be a good experience if you're a Sam Witwer fan, a Maul
Hmm.
fan from
Yeah.
animation. I mean, he's terrific. He's got a great Star Wars mind. He could be part of the story group. He could be.
Yeah.
I mean, for all we know, I mean, he could be Filoni's apprentice, where the person we've been asking for, who is Filoni's apprentice now? I mean, what
Hmm.
happens if something happens to him? It's like, who's going to carry it on? You know? I
Yeah.
mean, he really kind of needs someone. Um,
It'd be crazy if it was him and like Freddie Prince. That'd be sweet.
huh. Well,
I just like hearing the two of them talk, I guess. But
yeah, he's not. Man, he. I mean, he's got so many other interests, though. I
that's
would
true.
want someone that would be hardcore. Like, this is my life. It's been
Yeah.
my life. And the only one I can think of is actually Sam Witwer. Sam Witwer is the only guy out there
Hmm.
that I would be like trusting to kind of take on and take over.
Yeah.
Um,
Absolutely.
yeah,
Yeah. I
Zach said
agree.
that's whale, squid, and octopus. I've never had a whale. I think I've had squid and octopi, which are pretty good, but I've never had a whale. Um, Zach says I'll carry it on. Adam says I ate a sparrow in Japan. David, how adventurous are you? Okay, so me and James were talking, and it came about that we should get like matching tattoos or something in Japan.
Dude, that'd be
But
sweet.
apparently, like the Japanese culture kind of frown on tattoos, so I don't think there's any tattoo shops. We'd have to go to like some like hidden hole in the wall or something, and I don't want to do that.
Those are the best experiences, David. Come on.
Zach says I ate sparrow too at Yakitori restaurant. What? I mean,
Hmm.
is sparrow that like exotic? Do we get sparrows here in America?
I
We're
mean,
talking
you
about the
could
bird, right?
shoot them in the backyard, but well, I don't get sparrows in my backyard. But
Yeah. Yeah, I
yeah,
apologize to any like vegans out there, vegetarians. I'm sorry. We're talking about eating a lot of meat here.
Zach, how
But
close are you to where the convention's going to be held for celebration? I'm kind of curious
what's
to
that?
see that. Or Zach in the comments, I wonder how close he is to where the convention's going to be held.
Oh,
I don't know if he's within like a little bit of a drive or just way on the other side of the country or kind of curious.
yeah. See, I was right. I'm trying to click on the right message here. Yes, tattoos are frowned on. Bathhouses are a no-no. Yeah, I'm not looking to take a bath. Um, oh, Adam says it was on a stick. It looked like I was eating a bat. Yeah. Wow. Interesting. Yeah, I know there's like markets out there like you can just roll up on and they got meat on a stick. I've seen that before.
There you go.
Yeah, the restroom situation is also interesting. An interesting one.
Like
Um,
bidets,
some places, I mean, I think they just have like a hole in the ground and you got to squat.
just a straight septic, and you got to get
Yeah,
creative.
yeah,
Don't miss.
and I think that's actually. um, the way humans are supposed to go. Actually, are we're accustomed to toilets
Yeah.
in the
Yeah.
states,
Yeah,
and
that is
yeah,
true.
you shouldn't sit down. that's not that's not the best way to go. Apparently, I don't know how
Yeah.
we've gotten to this line of conversation, but
Oh,
um,
it's like
yeah, we yeah, toilets are interesting in Japan. Actually, I've seen a
yeah.
lot of technology. Yeah, I mean, like the bidet aspect of it. Um, I stayed at a hotel. Well, actually, the hotel in London had a seat warming function,
Wow. Well,
and I
if
was
you
like,
play your
okay,
cards
cool.
right,
It's gonna
in the
yeah, it's
States,
gonna warm
those
my
of them are
seat. But
warm
after a
anyway.
while, I was like, I don't like this. I'm not like used to it or whatever. So I was
Yeah,
like, yeah,
fair enough. Huh.
all right. Crystal's leaving us. She's got a dip. Thanks for the hang.
Thanks for stopping
Yeah.
by, Crystal.
See you soon. Maybe see you at LA Comic Con. I don't know. Maybe. Okay, yeah, Zach saying they eat the beak and skull and all. Okay. Wow. Yep. Adam. I think when I'm in Japan, I'm probably not gonna concentrate too much on them. I'm just gonna do my business and go. But yeah,
Yeah.
I mean, I'm not a toilet fanatic.
I hear the toilets there talk to you, some of them, but that could just be something I
Yeah.
heard on the internet, but
Yeah. I want to see all the different various kinds of vending machines because apparently you can get anything from a vending machine.
wow.
From like, I mean, underwear to shoes to anything.
Take that energy and make a Bucky's in Japan. You have all the stuff, just put it in a store, not a vending machine. We just need a Bucky's in Japan. It'll take off.
Okay, so Zach is saying most are like America now. There's actual toilets. And Zach says you'll want to take one home. So yeah, so Zach keeps on referring to Bucky's. I don't know if a lot of people know about Bucky's out there that are listening to us all around the world, but Bucky's are like a ginormous, extra large gas station that is very popular in the South of the United States. Originated here in South Texas, and yeah, it's like a one-stop shop. There's like more than enough gas pumps for everyone.
Yeah.
There's
Oh,
more
yeah.
than enough restrooms. They boast the cleanest restrooms to the point where you can actually eat food off the ground. I think
Yeah.
that's like the popular joke.
Oh,
Um,
yeah.
they pay their employees extremely well, but from what I've learned, it seems like it's they're very strict with their employees. So that's why you never have an issue with an employee at Bucky's because I mean
Yeah.
um, it's like it's like SEAL Team Six of SEAL Team Six of
Well,
gas station employees. Yeah, yeah. I
there's
mean,
such a
all
wide
courteous, kind. They're
Oh,
quick.
yeah.
Um, yeah,
Yeah.
it's an experience if you ever get a chance to. And they sell Star Wars stuff too. They
They
sell Star
do.
Wars merch. Colin picked up a Roosevelt's shirt, and our minds were blown when he headed over here for SpaceCon, and it was nice.
Yeah.
It was a nice shirt. Um, so yeah, now we have a group called the Bucky Boys.
Boom.
And we have a chat, and Nat
You
Adam is
know who you
actually
are?
part of it. He started it. Yeah, he started it.
Man,
But yeah,
wild.
so I'll be working, and then I hear ping, 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 ping. It's like Zach and Adam going back and forth, and I'm like, guys.
Love it.
Yeah, I'm looking at the chat here. Um, so yeah, that's pretty much all the big news. But like I was saying earlier, I mean, we got off on a big tangent, but I'm happy to report that James is safe. Crystal
Yeah,
Kyber is safe. Um,
absolutely.
unfortunately, though, there's a lot of people that did lose their houses, and they lost pets, and they lost loved ones, even. And it's just an unfortunate situation over there. Um,
Yeah.
I mean, that's one of the big risks over there. Is just wildfire. It's very low humidity, very dry. Um, and I mean, you
Mm,
think about living over there. I mean, there's so much potential for um, those types of disasters. I mean, I think fire is. I mean, you think the popular stuff is like earthquakes, mudslides, that type of thing, and yeah, it's just unfortunate what has happened, and it feels like it was just an
Mm.
oversight. Really, I mean, it's wild to see something like that happen and to see the Pacific Ocean right there.
Yeah.
And kind of what I've learned is like you don't want to throw a lot of salt water on the ground because it does corrode stuff and it kills certain vegetation.
Yeah.
But they're still doing it because I mean it's so drastic, you know. But definitely, if you want to help, you can contact the American Red Cross. I know, and donate your money or your time. But yeah, there's I mean the biggest wildfire in LA, and I know we all I think it's safe to say that we all know someone that was affected. Um, I mean, because there was a lot of celebrities that lost stuff. I know
Mhm.
Tom Hanks. I think was one of the more fortunate ones. He didn't lose his home, but it was in the Pacific Palisades. But Ben Affleck, Jennifer Garner, Anthony Hopkins. Um, I know Jenny Garth. She lost her stuff. Mark Hamill. We didn't even talk about Mark Hamill. I don't know if he lost his house or he just simply evacuated. I didn't see anything saying he lost his house, but he was given the
Mhm.
evacuation order, and he said him, Mary Lou, and the pets went to his daughter's house, which is in Hollywood, and they may have been evacuated as well. So, um,
Yeah.
yeah, it's a tough situation over there. I've in South Texas, I mean, it's very rare,
Mhm.
but sometimes we deal with flooding. And I remember there's a big flood in 1990, all the way back in the 1900s, 1998. I was a junior in high school, and it rained for 5 days straight. And I think the area that I
Dang.
live now was either it was underwater or close to being underwater, but it was like a 100-year flood type situation.
Wow.
But now that where I live now, it's super developed. There's like sewer and like um, just like a system to reroute water.
Hmm.
But yeah, those disasters, man, they're devastating, and they take years to recover from.
Yeah.
And
Absolutely. Well, and that was starting to unfold around the time the episode premiered for Skeleton Crew, right? I mean, I think it was that night, maybe a little bit
yeah, because we
before.
podcasted with James, and nothing was wrong. You didn't tell us
Yeah.
anything.
Yeah. And we're like, where'd James go? And
Yeah,
I'm sure James was checking things out in his area like other people, I'm sure. And, do what you got to do to stay safe for sure. But we were kind of scratching our heads. And as the night went on and into the next morning, I'm like, yeah, that totally makes sense
yeah.
for
I mean, I've been
what.
watching the coverage, and yeah, I mean, it's wild. I mean, there's so many people in LA, so
Mm,
many people,
yeah.
and there's a lot of good people, but there's bad people too, and that's not helping. The fact that I mean, different scenarios are out there that I mean, apparently some I mean, there's like people that are setting fires out there. I mean,
Mm,
it's wild. It's just
dang.
unfortunate, but hopefully, I mean, something good comes of this because I mean, there needs to be changes made because, like I said, I mean, there's so many ways for you would think for this not to happen by 2025. I mean, there's technology out there.
Yeah.
And then there's technology that's hindering what's going on with like drones flying in the path of these planes that are trying to douse the flames and and breaking pieces off the planes and grounding those planes. And it's like, gosh, man, it's such a big mess. Um,
Mm,
but yeah, Harrison Ford also, he evacuated. I don't know if he lost his home, but there was a picture of him just he was in um, a police SUV, and somebody took a picture of him like emptying a drink or something, and you could see he was just kind of distraught, and
yeah.
it looked like they just rushed him out, and he's like, yeah, and he was probably thinking about all the stuff, all his memories that
Mm,
were possibly lost. I haven't seen any updates on Mark Hamill or Harrison Ford, but it's a tough situation over there. And yeah, like I said, I talked to James, and James, once they gave him the okay to go back to his place, his job called him and they said, "Hey, you going to come in?" And he worked the next day. And
Wow.
he said that LA's so big that the place he worked, everyone was like business as usual, and
Yeah.
nothing was different. And it's like, wow, it's like the stuff I see online. It's like people are trying to leave LA. And then James was like, no, not really. I mean, people are still here and going
Yeah.
on dates and
Wow.
looking to buy things. And it's like, wow.
That's crazy because they moved the wild card game for the Vikings and the Rams from
Yeah.
LA, I believe, to Arizona.
Yes.
So that's crazy. Stuff like that's starting to happen too. But yeah, hopefully if y'all are listening from that area that everyone's safe and sound and that you're able to evacuate if needed, and if you're able to stay put, that you're able to stay put.
Yeah. Leave your stuff behind, guys. It's if they tell you evacuate, yeah, don't. I mean, take what
Yeah.
you can carry, but other than that, it's like it's not
Yeah,
worth risking. And a lot of people risk their lives out there to
for sure.
do move certain things, save pets, save livestock, save horses. I mean, it's just unfortunate. Um, Zach says there's only Costco and IKEA here. That's interesting. Um, Adam says, I think he's making a joke here. It's actually pronounced. Never mind. Um, and Adam says it's kind of hitting me now that we don't have any Star Wars media in 2025. Whatever will we talk about? Yeah, I mean, we're gonna have some Star Wars media. We're gonna have Vision season 3. We're gonna get Andor season 2, the final season. We have a little bit of Skeleton Crew we can still talk about. And of course, there's going to be all kinds of news dropping when Celebration hits, all the
Yeah,
announcements.
for sure.
And we're predicting some big announcements there. So there's going to be a lot to talk about. Zach thinks Mando and Grogu's coming out this year, possibly. No, it's not. It's going to come out next year, May 22nd of next year. Yep, 2026, 2026.
Hmm.
Zach says, dang it, Steve Gutenberg. Yeah, he was helping out a lot, man. He's an actor from the 80s, from the Police Academy movies. And he was always referenced a lot. And he came out as like a real hero, man. He kept on telling everyone. He got on all those like media outlets. He said, "Hey, if you're able-bodied, do what
Hmm.
you can to help your community out. Around here, help the elderly. If you leave your car, leave your keys in it so we can move it out of the way so emergency crews can come up
Hmm.
and assist
Yeah.
people and fight fires and that whole thing." And yeah, I mean, Steve Gutenberg, he's up there in age, but I mean, he's kept in shape. And Zach says, yeah, the 1900s, man, we're old. He was born in the 1900s.
Oof. That makes one of us.
Yeah, yeah. In LA, especially, there's a really dark history of riots happening. Zach brings that up.
Yeah.
Um, and right now, I mean, yeah, they're arresting people that are kind of taking advantage of the situation. Um,
Yeah, for sure.
and Zach says tech can't beat Mother Nature. Um, yeah, definitely can't beat, but I think can. Uh, how
Maybe
do I want to
delay.
say this? Yeah, I mean, it can negate the maximum amount of damage.
Hmm.
Let's say
Soften
if
a
they
little
actually
bit.
had, yeah, if they actually had like a rain collection or like get the ocean water desalinization, turn it from salt water to fresh water,
Hmm.
channel it up the hills, have like reservoirs where they could just release water, that type of thing.
Yeah.
Um, so yeah, I think that's pretty much it. We gave an update on Japan on James. James is good.
Hmm.
I called him, asked him to be on the podcast tonight, but he was like, "Well, um, I just ordered ice cream."
Ooh, sounds yummy.
He's a big delivery guy. Like he'll get stuff delivered to his place, which I don't know.
I'm not a
Over here in
delivery
South
guy, but
Texas, Yeah, it's a little
Yeah.
too expensive. I'm a delivery. I deliver stuff. So
Yeah, for sure. No, and I got an ice cream place like down the street I can walk to, but it's 26 degrees in Michigan right now, and no one wants to go out and get ice cream. So,
yeah, yeah, that's wild, right? I mean,
yeah,
you're below freezing and you want ice cream.
yeah, it sounds. What would you do for Klondike bar, David? Come on.
Nothing. I don't like Klondike bars. I like
Oh,
Bluebell.
ooh,
Bluebell's better.
ooh, ooh.
We're giving all these people all this free advertisement here, but
Fair enough.
yeah. So yeah, thank you everyone for listening to us talk about the LA situation
Yeah,
and the recent news. Um, Definitely hyped up for Ahsoka season 2 more so than I was before. Getting to see Rory act again in a major
absolutely.
role should be good. Also, James Mangold. We kind of talked through the Dawn of the Jedi. Now I'm getting more hyped for it.
Hmm. Yeah, there's a lot of potential there.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, but are they going to harness that potential? That's the big question. What are they going to do with
Yeah,
it? Does James Mangold have something that's going to knock our socks off? You know, I
he's
mean,
done it
it seems like
before.
he
What
wants
can
to
he
do
do with
something
Star
different,
Wars?
but
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah. Hmm. Hmm. Time will tell.
yeah. And thanks to everyone out there on the chat, Crystal Kyber, Zach from Japan, and Adam, of course, for this late night podcast.
Yeah,
Thank
thanks,
you to
guys.
everyone joining us. And yeah, it's already tomorrow. So yeah, thanks to
We
Zach
made it.
too. Yeah, I had to work late tonight, but we really wanted a podcast and address the news and give our thoughts. So thank you so much, everyone. For Zach, my name is David, and may the force be with you.
Always in bidets or something like that. What? Bucky's in Japan.